All right. Good morning, everyone. I hope you're doing well. I'm Ann Bossler, and I'm the chair of the City of San Diego Commission for Arts and Culture. We're going to do a quick roll call here to confirm commissioner attendance. When I call your name, if you would please unmute yourself and say present. Commissioner Rebecca Smith.
Present.
Good morning. Commissioner Tyler Hughes.
Present. Good morning, Chair.
Good morning. Commissioner Keith Opstead.
Present. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Commissioner Fritz Friedman.
Present.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Let's see. Thank you so much for your attendance. It has been noted. And also joining us today includes the city staff, Executive Director Jonathan Gless. Good morning, Jonathan. And
good morning.
And our Chief of Civic Art Strategies, Christine Jones, although I don't see her with us. Is she with us this morning?
She's not with us today.
Okay. And Project Manager Belle Reza. Good morning, Belle. And before we get into today's agenda, I'm going to call on Belle to please run down some of the guidelines for today's meeting.
Good morning, everyone. We'll just do a really quick refresher as a reminder. This meeting is being ran as a webinar today, but for you, it'll function exactly as a typical Zoom meeting. Just please remember to keep your self on mute when you're not speaking, and keep your camera on throughout the meeting. Use the chat window to signal when you'd like to speak. This is in order to comply with Brown Act. Mr. Bossler?
Okay, terrific. Thank you so much. So now we're going to move on to any non-agenda public comment that we might have. The public was invited to submit public comment on agenda and non-agenda items via a web form accessible through the city's website. And members of the public may also join this meeting as webinar attendees. If members of the public have submitted comments in writing via the web form, staff will read aloud public comments submitted per city public comment protocol. I will now on on Belle to please read aloud any non-agenda public comment or to call on any attendees who would like to provide such comment.
Thank you, Chair Bossler. Nothing was submitted in writing and there are no members of the public in attendance this morning.
All right, they're missing out. So let's see, we're going to move on now to commission business. We're going to move on to commission business, and we hope that everyone had an opportunity to review the minutes from the July 8th, 2022 meeting. Would anyone like to make a motion, please, to approve the minutes as they are? If you would, please type speak in the chat window. And when I call on you, verbally state your name and make your motion. Commissioner Smith?
So moved, Chair.
Wonderful, thank you for that, Commissioner Smith. Do we have a second? Commissioner Opstead?
I'd like to second the motion.
Wonderful, thank you so much. We have a first and a second. Before we vote, Belle, if you would, please read any public comment for this item that was submitted in writing. And as she mentioned earlier, we don't have anybody in attendance.
No public comment today.
Okay, thank you for that. Now we will take a vote. I will call your name, and if you would please respond out loud with yay, nay, or abstain. Remember, you do not need to have been present for the meeting in order to vote or to discuss. Commissioner Rebecca Smith?
Yay.
Commissioner Hughes?
Yay.
Commissioner Opstead?
Yay.
Commissioner Friedman? Looks like Commissioner Friedman stepped away. My vote is a yay. I think with that, the motion carries. Do we need to wait for Commissioner Friedman?
No, we don't.
Okay. Thank you so much. Now we're going to move on to committee reports. If you would, when I call on you, please share a quick update from your committee with respect to what is currently happening. Let's start with Policy and Funding Committee. Commissioner Smith.
Very easy, Chair. We did not have a meeting this month, so just really looking forward to the learning meetings we're going to have about World Design Capital and Cultural Plan in the future, but no meeting this month, no business.
Okay, thank you so much for that. And now moving on to public art. Let's see, Commissioner Opstead, anything you could share with us?
Couple of brief things. We did not meet in August, but I did want to do a quick shout out. It was great seeing many of you in person at the groundbreaking of the Pacific Highlands Library. That was on July 15th, and that's going to focus and highlight the artwork of Janelle Iglesias when it's completed, I believe, in 2024. Also, it was great to see many of you again on July 16th at the Park Social Day, which was the collective memory highlighting the artwork of Sheena Ray Dowling and Yvette Roman.
Very nice. Thank you so much. Next up would be
excuse me. I'm sorry. I apologies. I had to leave because of a little emergency that I had, but I'm back. And if you need me, I'm here. And I approve the minutes, by the way.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much. Hope everything's okay.
Now it is.
Now it is. Okay, good. All right. Advocacy and outreach. Commissioner Hughes, did you want to provide an update?
Chair, much like my friends and colleagues, we have not had a meeting this month, but I am looking forward to getting together with Commissioner Friedman, hopefully later this month, to talk about coordinating our two committees. And just FYI, I will be out of town all of next week, but look forward to hitting the ground running after a vacation to Montreal.
Very nice. Stay safe. Wear your mask.
Yes, ma'am.
Enjoy your time away. And let's see. Last but not least, Commissioner Friedman, would you like to give us an update on the Commissioner Engagement Committee?
Yes, we have not had a meeting this month, but however, we will have a meeting towards the end of the month. And I did send out a note this morning to suggest to our committee members 3 various events that they may be, the commissioners, I mean, 3 various events that folks may want to go to. One is Summerfest, the other one is Artopia that Bell sent out, and the other one is the briefing on the Tijuana San Diego Design Conference. I think it is very important for our commissioners to be aware of these events and to be present. I've gotten some feedback and it's very positive. So that's all I have to report for now.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much. Jonathan, did you want to say anything at this time with respect to that session that's coming up about world design?
I can hold that to my report.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much. Exciting stuff. At this point, Belle, any public comment for you to read?
No, we do not have any public comment that's been submitted, and there are still no members of the public in attendance.
Okay, thank you so much. So now we're going to move along to the approval of the agenda for the August 26th full commission meeting. The agendas were sent to you as part of the meeting packet. I hope you all had an opportunity to review it. Would anybody like to make a motion to accept the agenda as is for the August 26th meeting? If you would, please type speak in the chat and I'll call on you, Commissioner Friedman.
I move to accept the agenda.
Wonderful, thank you for that. Do we have a second? Commissioner Opstead?
I second the motion.
Okay, thank you for that. Now that we have a motion and a second, is there any discussion? The only thing that I would say is we've already talked to staff. A lot of you who were in attendance at the July full commission meeting, remember we had a lot of great feedback and input from various commissioners, and the request has been made that Jonathan, during that August meeting, just refer back to each of the items that was brought up for discussion and comment, and that he let the full commission know what has been done by way of follow-up, and just important to make sure that everybody knows that they're being heard and their input is being taken into consideration. I'm not sure that that needs to actually be explicitly stated on the agenda. Jonathan, is something you'll be able to cover during your time on the agenda?
Yes. Chair Bosler, I can just roll that into my director's report.
Okay, terrific. Any other discussion before we take a vote? Okay, seeing none, let's go ahead and vote, please, to approve the agenda for the next full commission meeting on August 26th. Commissioner Rebecca Smith.
Yay.
Commissioner Tyler Hughes.
Yay.
Commissioner Keith Opstead.
Yay.
Commissioner Fritz Friedman.
Yay.
Wonderful, and my vote is a yay. Now with that, I'm going to turn it over to Jonathan to please share his staff reports with us.
Happy to do so. Thank you so much. So in regards to the July meeting, or I'm sorry, the August meeting, I actually have a few questions for you as the leadership group. The two key presentation items are the cultural planning and then World Design Capital. You know, next Tuesday, as you all know, there is a convening for the larger arts and culture community to be introduced to World Design Capital leadership and to start a more formal conversation around planning for 2024. So I'd like to know from this group, if we have a 20 to 25 minute slot at the August meeting, what would you like to hear? What would be most beneficial to you as a group? And then I'd like to extend that same question to cultural planning. Just to give you a little bit of context around cultural planning, the RFQ is still out on the streets. The application deadline was about a month ago. The review committee will be meeting in about another week to review protocols, and then they will actually start reviewing the applications in early September. Just as a reminder, Anne sits on that committee representing the commission. If all goes well, we'll go to City Council end of October, early November at the very latest, with a contract for an outside consulting firm. So I have the same question for this group. What would you like to hear? What do you feel would prepare you well for the next year and a half of work?
If anyone would like to chime in, please type speak in the box. I'll just kick it off and say that particularly for World Design, I think an opportunity to really give the general broad context of what it is and what's been achieved. And then practically speaking, what does that mean future forward? And more specifically, how is it that our commission fits into that? And what is the work and responsibility and opportunity for us to be of support and helpful in that whole endeavor? And with that, I see Commissioner Smith would like to speak.
I'll add to your comments, Chair Bosler, in the sense that what are some of the particulars, right, in terms of involvement? So, for example, was at an event recently and talked to some small arts organizations who were under the impression that this designation came with a huge infusion of cash to San Diego. And I had to actually let them down and say, no, I'm sorry. It's actually the opposite. If you want to be involved, you're going to be fundraising. So I think there's just there are a lot of questions out in the community about, to your point, Anne, what does this actually mean for our organizations? And to have that clarity, I think it is going to be super important. I think then too, for us as a commission specifically, and Jonathan, you can feel free to say, stop, Rebecca. If there are any conversations about if the city will be able to participate in some of the funding in the future, because my understanding is that's never anything that was on the table, even from the get-go. So, but just knowing that if we're not putting funds at the table, then what is it that we're actually putting in terms of firepower?
Thank
Great,
you.
really helpful. Thank you.
And it's a question for you, Jonathan. Has the city or the Arts Commission put any dollars behind this? And then Tyler wanted to jump in, so feel free.
No, that was, this has been part of the negotiations, both here in the region and then with World Design Organization. Neither of the two cities, San Diego and Tijuana, have invested financially. Thus far, our investments are in substantial staff time, but no actual cash allocation. The majority of the funding thus far has come from University of California at San Diego and Burnham Center for Community Advancement.
Interesting, good to know. Commissioner Hughes?
Thank you, Chair. Just a few questions. I guess the first one is, what does a win look like? What does a successful production of the World Design Capital 2024 look like in terms of dollars raised, the profile of the city raised nationally, globally? What would we consider a major feather in our cap? Semicolon. What do we hope, and related to that, what do we hope to build out of World Design Capital 2024 into 25, 26, 27 as we go forward? Because I don't think, and knowing you, Jonathan, and knowing the players in this, that we don't want to just do this as a one-time thing. This is a launching point into something more for our region, for our cities, Tijuana and San Diego in particular. So what do we hope to leverage going into the future? And then pie in the sky, if a funder came in and said, hey, I want to write you a blank check. Tell me the dollar amount. What do you need to make this primo, to make it really what you want it to be?
Very helpful. Thank you.
And I would just say, Jonathan, with respect to the cultural plan, much of the same. The nuts and bolts of, practically speaking, what does it mean? What's the time horizon? And then what does it look like when it rolls out? And ultimately, what's the goal and what's a successful snapshot look like if the cultural plan has accomplished what it was intended to, and how exactly can the individual commissioners be helpful in all of that as it comes to fruition? Anyone else have anything to offer with respect to the cultural plan and what could be covered on the 26th? Commissioner Hughes?
I think just how the cultural plan and World Design Capital seed together. How are the two Lego bricks to help us build a stronger San Diego? So yes, I'd be very interested to see how these two major, exciting, wonderful elements can be used to reinforce and grow.
Fantastic point. I love that.
Mm-hmm. Very helpful. Thank you. I want to note for the record that when Tyler raised questions about the cultural plan, of course I had to grin because Tyler always has thoughts about the cultural plan. Thank you, Tyler. In addition to this, so this is very helpful, also just underscoring what Anne mentioned a minute ago, Christine Jones, who was the lead staff at the July meeting of the commission, gave me very ample notes on the robust conversation you all had. So I'll be responding formally to all of those questions and comments at the August meeting, just to make sure that the larger commission is assured that staff is hearing questions and supporting the work of the commission and commissioners. The only thing that I will add to that is on the very practical level, we are in the process of interviewing to replace Deanna's position. You may recall that Deanna Augustino resigned in February to go back to the film festival and to be a mother. So we're in the final phases of that, which will then allow us to build out the funding team. And also want to make sure everybody is aware of the fact that the city council's discussions around budget has shifted. In the past, they would submit their budget priorities in January of each year. This year, it's shifted back to September. So we will have a very early snapshot or sense of the city council priorities as early as the end of September. So that would be really helpful for us in our planning work over the fall. Happy to answer any questions. Otherwise, I'll turn it back to you, Anne.
Wonderful. One thing that I would ask is that in the kind of exploration, one of the items had to do with scheduling of meetings future forward. And it's looking like instead of Fridays, that potentially it's going to be Thursdays. And I just wanted to check with this group to confirm that I know for myself and Rebecca, we can both figure out how to make Thursdays work. Is that the case for the rest of you? Speak now or forever hold your peace.
Thursday's fine for me.
Okay.
Fridays are ideal for me.
Yeah.
It's a slower, it tends to be a slower day on the market, and I have a little more flexibility. Thursdays are more intense.
Yeah, it's okay. I hear you. And the tough thing is I'm a little bit the same way, sans the market. And Commissioner Opstead?
I prefer Fridays. For me, I have a sub every single meeting that I do. So the more spread out they are, if I can ever like have them back to back, that's always much more beneficial for me.
Okay. Yeah, I think we're dealing with a few folks that are in an education environment and their various schedules in terms of being able to teach classes and lead discussions and that type of thing. So my understanding is what's going to be put forward by staff will be options on Thursdays because the Friday just doesn't work for, it's got to be either 2 or 3 different folks. Is that right, Jonathan?
It is. And actually, and just to clarify, we will pull options for as few or as many days. So we're happy to include the existing day and time of Friday.
Okay.
We just want to get a sense of what is best for the group overall.
Okay, I think that would be good. Commissioner Hughes?
If I can advocate for anything after 1:30 or 2 p.m., if that's an option, because the market is closed by then, and that does make my day a little bit better, and it may work for our friends in the education universe.
Okay, thank you for that. Commissioner Opstead?
I was going to say the same exact thing, except for anything in that afternoon time. At that point, it really doesn't matter what day of the week it is. And so something, I don't know if on a Friday afternoon or a Thursday afternoon, even like a 3 o'clock towards the end of the day, I don't know how that works, but that survey I think will be really beneficial. But having those options at different times, I think might open up some windows to do things differently rather than how it's been done in the past.
Okay, I think that's all super helpful. So given that, let's not include a morning time on Thursday because it sounds like that's really not going to work for folks. And maybe let's aim towards that latter part of Thursday, like folks are suggesting, and then maybe continue to offer options on Fridays and then see where we land.
Great, happy to do. we'll run a revised email by you, Anne, before we send it out.
Okay. Okay, great. And then the only other question I had, and future agenda items for this meeting. We're all good? Okay. All right, with that, we will say happy Friday and adjourn this meeting of the Executive Committee of the Arts Commission. Have a wonderful rest of the day and a great weekend, everyone.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Be safe, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks all.